Compass Mining makes Bitcoin mining accessible to everyone. Start mining in as little as 48 hours with our turnkey hardware, online, and mining directly to your Bitcoin wallet within 2 business days. Find out more at compassmining.io and get started now. Hey miners, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, the new home of power mining analysis. In today's episode, Anthony Power and I are going to be covering recent news from Bitfarms Soluna and talking about the Bitcoin price. We've now cracked 60,000 US. Once again, it seems to be on the upward move. We're going to be covering that in today's presentation and what it means for the Bitcoin mining stocks. Now, before we get into all that, you guys know the deal. Take a second, smash the like button. It's 100% free to do. Really helps us out. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, McNallie Money, feel free to join and let us know in the comments section below what you thought of these recent press releases from Bitfarms and Soluna, how you're feeling about the miners overall, and your price target for Bitcoin by the end of 2024. Now, with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay, guys, so that's right. Tuesday morning, a jam-packed agenda for you. Anthony and I were just joking here. I took a screenshot again, Anthony, of the miner movement this morning at 9:02. 13 minutes later, Anthony's giving me heck because the numbers are outdated. The miners are absolutely raging this morning, Anthony, as illustrated by that point. We can't even get an up-to-date screenshot. We've now got a number of miners up double-digit percentages only a few hours after the market opens. Bitcoin has broken through 60,000 US once again. It's seeming that the momentum is picking up, Anthony. The question is, will it be able to last?
That's the question. You know, those technical analysts out there, they sometimes forecast it going up, sometimes they forecast it going down. So, you know, we know a couple this week that have not got it quite right. But I'm all, you know, feeling happier for a green day. It's nice to see them and good start to the week.
It certainly is. We've toyed with the idea of swing trading a percentage of our holdings quite a bit, Anthony. I can never bring myself to do it, you guys. I'm just not willing to miss this face-melting God candle at some point for a 10 or 15 or 20% swing. But I know a lot of the technicians do very successfully. I hope everyone's positioned long this week, and I hope this is the rally we've been waiting for. Now, Anthony, in addition to that, and as a result of Bitcoin price, or at least partially, the hash price is also trending upwards. So we saw a low. We talked about that a few weeks ago on our live podcast. And really ever since that bottom, we saw a steady increase, not quite where we want it to be in terms of mining profit, but definitely moving in the right direction.
Yeah, and it needs to move in the right direction. I mean, hash price, you know, anything 14 below there is a challenge for some of even the more bigger miners in North America. You know, it doesn't live a lot for margins, and we're already seeing now. You know, even I think I saw an update today from Cathedra to say they're now focusing on sort of HPC and maybe buying Bitcoin as a strategy because they feel that the margins associated with Bitcoin mining haven't been as great as they were, you know, led to believe or their expectation was. So there's a miner out there, not one of the biggest miners, but they're a miner out there, and they've changed their strategy to look at other avenues. And we've seen a lot of these miners on the sheet here. They're moving across to, you know, the HPC side, even some of those that we thought were pure play. And believe you me, you know, Marathon have just appointed 2 directors. You've got the likes of Bitfarms have now said they'll pivot to HPC with the sites that they've bought if the opportunity arises. And if Jason or Fred got a big offer on the table for their sites, believe you me, both of them will be eating up that offer today, never mind waiting the opportunity. So, you know, I don't think we have as many pure play miners out there as we're led to believe. I mean, yes, we've been sat there with Jason, but I don't even think Jason at the time, bear in mind when he mentioned that back in June, we'd only just seen the big contract being awarded to Core Scientific. The phone's probably been ringing. The analysts have probably been ringing and asking, you know, when the next deal's coming from. And so I think Now it's open season now, so we might even see more changes. But when Marathon moved across there, it only left CleanSpark and Riot and Matt Schultz has tweeted this week, I think, a few times about the fact that these miners are spending lots of money buying GPUs and moving across the HPC with an unknown list of customers and an unknown quantity. Well, the argument could be said for Bitcoin mining as well. It hasn't been a great few years in terms of the returns that some of these companies have gotten. If you go back over the last couple of years, there's not many green quarter earnings updates from any of the miners. So, a lot of them are probably carrying forward accumulated losses over the periods. And so, waiting for that spike in Bitcoin price to sort of alleviate the position, but we haven't really seen it yet. But today and this start of this week, nice green look to the stake, and the miners recovering a bit from what they've lost over the last few weeks. Bear in mind, we've still got a long way to go before we even get close to the highs of 2024.
Yeah, we certainly do. It really makes me think about the HODL question as well, Anthony, whether or not that's the right approach, because you're right, with these margins compressed so much right now, unless you've got very efficient fleet and energy pricing, the actual mining of Bitcoin isn't super lucrative. However, holding on to that Bitcoin with the hopes that it may go up down the road, or purchasing Bitcoin, as we've seen Marathon and now Cathedra talk about, may be an approach to get that upside potential. Now, my other question there, Anthony, is as we see these margins compress, companies start to look at other opportunities, do you think we're going to continue to see M&A activity? I know CleanSpark just came out with an announcement today we'll touch on briefly at the end. Very active in the M&A space, and it seems we're starting to see this across the board.
Yeah, I think some of these miners have put out big targets to achieve this year and next year, and the only way they're going to get to some of that target is by acquiring additional sites and maybe acquiring a miner at the same time. And this year we've seen more M&A activity than we have done in any of the previous years, over the last cycle or two. So it has happened more this year. And actually, when you think where Bitcoin price was at the start of the year and it was 42,000, even at today's price at 61,000 it is at the moment, that's still a 50% increase this year. But the halving has really hurt the miners. And we talked many times before the halving that miners should be planning for this, get the fleet efficiency down, get lowest price energy, and have cash. And if you've got those three, you've got a chance. And that's where the challenge has been for some of the miners. We haven't seen some of the miners really upgrade their fleets. We have seen a number of miners certainly highlight the fact they're getting cheap power or taking advantage of curtailing when the prices spike. So if you're on the market rate, you can switch off very quickly.
Sure.
But then the curtailment, then are you getting any return for that curtailment, or is it a case of that's just lost time? And effectively, then you're then trying to play catch up when you are able to mine through a reasonable price. So there's been a lot of variables to work with. Mining, it's a lot more challenging to run a mining company now than maybe it was a few years ago. You're balancing so many different variables to make sure that you get optimum performance out of your facilities.
Most definitely. Now, we've talked a little bit about HPC exposure. We've talked about M&A. Bitfarms is the first story we wanted to pick up today, Anthony, involved in both of these topics. As of right now, they're trading at about $2.08, up about 4% on the day. So compared to that initial Riot buyout offer at $2.30, definitely a little bit lower, about 10% lower. Now, that being said, Bitfarms has been actively involved in M&A on their own front, actually acquiring Stronghold Digital. So the first story we wanted to talk about is this hosting partnership really made possible through this M&A. They had a number of machines, I think 10,000 machines headed to South America. And through this acquisition, they're actually able to get those plugged in and hashing quicker at one of Stronghold's facilities and then do a 50-50 revenue share model. So I wanted to get your thoughts on this, Anthony. This is a great example. If they had not partaken in M&A, these machines would be sitting there idle until they could get plugged in South America.
Yeah, I mean, Bitfarms have, put out their targets for this year and next year: 21 exahash by the end of the year, 35 exahash plus by the end of 2025. And that's not taking into account any of the approaches from Riot Platforms towards the company. So they're going about their own business. They've been doing lots of things to improve some of the criticisms that they've received from Riot in terms of they've added extra directors to the board that are not connected to Bitfarms themselves, so independent directors, which is one of the effectively the shortcomings that was highlighted. They've gone out and purchased Stronghold Digital Mining Company. So that was a company that had actually basically put themselves up for sale quite a while back when they realised that in this space it was a challenge. And bear in mind, I can go back to 2021. Stronghold had one of the lowest power costs of all the mining companies because they were receiving subsidies for actually cleaning up some of the carbon that was being released into the air by taking on these sites, these carbon waste sites, using, heating the carbon waste, getting the power from that, and then actually making green the sites that were previously just black carbon waste sites. So getting some real good subsidies from the city. And whether that carried on, I don't know. But effectively, they've carried a significant amount of debt. I mean, Stronghold were in that position like Argo were, like Greenwich were, like Bitfarms were back in 2021, and Core Scientific. They all had large amounts of debt. And when you have debt and high interest rates and the Bitcoin price is dropping and the value of your machines is dropping, and so therefore collateral against the loans is a problem, and the creditors start calling in for payments before they call in the receivers, and so it's been a tricky ride for Stronghold. So they put themselves up for sale. Bitfarms now have effectively bought the company 175 million, and that included taking on 50 million of the debt. But this is one interesting thing with this is this deal to utilize, because that deal won't go ahead until early next year. I mean, obviously there still has to be discussions with Stronghold Mining shareholders. They've still got to rubber stamp the deal, but the company believe that they'll get the support from shareholders to get this one through, and shareholders will receive Bitfarms shares as part of the deal. So you're going to be part of a stronger mining company. So why wouldn't you think of keeping hold of your position, or if you've got the opportunity, you can sell the position now, because it's a market where you can still do that, and somebody will buy those shares and get the benefit of Bitfarm shares when it goes through. But this deal effectively gets them closer to 21 exahash. So it's not like we've seen other mining companies like Riot and CleanSpark, where they bought new sites or bought new mining companies in terms of grid, in terms of block mining. They've added to their year target. This is Bitfarms effectively saying, and these 10,000 miners that will be deployed at Stronghold mining facilities, at the Stronghold Panther Creek site in Pennsylvania, instead of going to Paraguay, will be deployed earlier, but it will go towards their 21 exahash by the end of the year. Now, bear in mind, I think from my recollection, I haven't got the numbers in front of me, but they were looking to increase their hash rate in Paraguay to 8 exahash by the end of the year. So that to me looks like it might achieve 6 there, with these just over 2 exahash going to Pennsylvania to a site there that actually can start mining as soon as they're installed, which I think is going to be October. So October, energization is expected to happen, and then that gives them an extra 2.2. But we've been watching closely at Bitfarms. It still hasn't reached that magic 12 exahash in terms of installed hash rate. I think it was 11.3, 11.4 at the end of August, operating slightly less than that. But we want to see that 12 happen soon, because that will give us an indication then of how quickly they can get to 21. And bear in mind, all these miners are on the hook now for their targets at the end of the year. We've spoke to a number of CEOs to say, is it still there? And we've got Ben coming on the podcast this week, so we'll certainly reiterate that question to him.
Compass Mining is your trusted partner in Bitcoin mining. Whether you're investing in one machine or thousands, our customizable solutions are tailored to meet your needs. We are your experts in Bitcoin mining, offering a platform where individuals and businesses can purchase hardware, host machines, and access a range of ancillary Bitcoin mining services. We also specialize in large-scale site development and data center operations. Discover more at compassmining.io and see how we can power your success today.
Yeah, stack them and rack them. Get them hashing, Ben. We want to see that 12 come online. Now, the next story, Anthony, Soluna Holdings. So John Belizaire, a regular on the channel, one of our favorite CEOs to discuss, really a unique business model focused on this project level financing. They've now come out with yet another project, this one titled Project Rosa. So keeping with their tradition, all of their projects are named after famous women involved in either science or technology. So this one's Rosalind Franklin, chemist who is involved in RNA, DNA sequencing. And this one, Anthony, the biggest yet in their portfolio, 187 megawatts. So John Belizaire has put out a tweet and interestingly enough, basically committed to converting 300 megawatts of their energy pipeline to shovel-ready projects each and every year. So we've been following Soluna for quite some time. Their initial ADA and Grace projects were in the 1 to 2 megawatt range. And now most recently with Dorothy and then Katie, obviously at 166, now Rosa at 187, continuing to push the envelope and scale this business.
Yeah, no, this is another great project, and we're talking about a mining company with a market capitalization less than 20 million, and it's delivering, some of these nice niche, smaller projects whereby they're getting partners in to help deliver the funding for some of these projects. We've got Project Sophie, Project Dorothy 1 and 2, Project Catty. We've got the two smaller HPC projects, Project Grace, Project Ada. And now we've got this new Project Rosa, 187 megawatts, but it's going to be located, co-located where there's a 240 megawatt wind farm in Texas. So they'd be able to, get access directly to, a substantial share of the renewable energy down there. They've already secured 60 acres of land for the development, and and that's an important position to be in, because we'll get the next update we'll see is when they're we're ready to start shoveling the construction from day one. So that's in the offing there. The project itself will be executed in 2 phases. And, at the end of on completion, there's 187 megawatts of data, which will be used for AI, machine learning, hosting, Bitcoin hosting and other computer intensive applications, as well as, being a joint venture potential. So again, they'll be looking for support to deliver this project. And with other projects there'll be effectively like a profit share post the project going live.
Sure. Yeah, exciting times for John and team. We look forward to breaking ground there and continuing to watch this portfolio grow. Now, Anthony, we've got a little bit of an Easter egg for viewers here. We're going to touch on CleanSpark as well. Continuing on the M&A tradition here. So they've now acquired 2 additional sites in Mississippi. I'm starting to see why Matt and Zach needed that jet, because they've got now a basket of facilities all over the Midwest and the United States in small rural areas. So definitely need access to these locations. One thing interesting with CleanSpark is they've done a really good job of partnering with local communities. We just talked about that story coming out of Norway, where the Bitcoin mine was actually kicked out of town, and as a result, everyone's energy costs went up. CleanSpark specifically partners with these local jurisdictions and communities to really try and create a win-win situation. So almost the opposite of what we saw in Norway there. But in terms of the news today, Anthony, adding 2 more sites and closing on a second site in Wyoming as well. So a lot going on here.
Yeah, so this site will deliver 16.5 megawatts. It's already partially complete, and I think the cost per per megawatt is around about $350,000. So that's, that's sort of like in terms of payment to get something that's already, partially complete, will be save them time, and they expect to get it complete by the 1st of December. It's going to add about an extra exahash to their target. So again, it's getting them closer to where they need to be by the end of the year. And their target at the end of the year has grown now to 37 exahash. And they've got a target of reaching 50 in 2025. But if they keep operating and achieving sites this quickly, maybe that target in 2025 could be even higher.
Yeah.
Or maybe they look at other areas. But I suppose, they've been quite clear they're going to stay Bitcoin mining. I've not seen anything that suggests that CleanSpark will waver from that and move into HPC. Not with the tweets that Matthew's been putting out. He's been sort of like effectively quite, saying that, the HPC side, you need to be very careful. There's no guarantees. And they just want to be, involved in Bitcoin mining and become the best Bitcoin miner in the same way that Jason at Riot did as well. But I'm sure if the right offers came along, I'm sure, both would sort of certainly highlight their interest.
Yeah, great to see continued action out of CleanSpark on the M&A front. I think your thesis may be coming true here, Anthony, with these consolidations starting to go towards 4, 5, 6 big players in the Bitcoin mining space as the economies of scale become more and more prevalent or evident here. Now, a couple of quick updates, you guys. Tomorrow is Wednesday, of course, so 10 a.m. Mountain Time, we have our live stream. We're going to go through each and every one of the miners as we normally do, so prepare your questions, you guys. We've got a lot to talk about tomorrow. Anthony's also going to be bringing along a number of key metrics, tables, charts that we can analyze, go through, dissect in tomorrow's video. So you definitely want to take a look at that one. And then, Anthony, we have a couple big names on the channel I'll let you talk about as well.
Yeah, so we've got Ben Gagnon coming on this week, and he'll give us more of an overview of what's happened recently in terms of the purchase of Stronghold and what that means to Bitfarms going forward. Are they on track to get to their hash rate this year? Will they have sufficient, support to get them through this period now? Knowing that they've got another mining company very interested in purchasing them that owns 19.9% of the shares of Bitfarms. So that'd be an interesting discussion. And just to sort of to look from the other side of that, we've got Jason Les hopefully coming on early next week to talk about Riot. So and tell us how things are going at their 2 sites, the Corsicana, which will be the biggest site in the world once it's completed, and actually one of the current biggest sites in the world, which is actually the Rockdale facility, and talk to us about how they look to keep improving the operational performance of the company.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. Hoping to see that operational hashing hash rate improve here this month, Anthony, as we've been talking throughout the year here. So as we say, guys, no shortage of news. Awesome to see the portfolios in the green today. Smash the like button if you're making some money. Helps us out in a big way. Feel free to subscribe and, of course, leave a comment in the section below. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you at 10 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow for our live stream.